Every time, though. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section. Check out the merchandise section as well. And, of course, become a member only over there. So all you do is click on the members only tab. It's a little $3 a month. You get some after-hours footage. You get behind-the-scenes footage. And you get all access to Tori Anderson's live Facebook page. What's up, Tori? What's going on tonight, man?
$5. It's all it costs. $5 a month. And you get to come hang out with us. You get to hear drop a bunch of F-bombs usually on the after show.
Yeah, but here on the actual show, we can't use it the F-bombs.
Fun.
So
the only F word we use is fun.
Yeah, fun is for funny guys like Tori. So if you guys do not know who Tori is usually the man behind the chat over there. He is the admin there. So when your chat gets removed or booted, Tori's that guy. So blame him 100%. So Combs is out tonight. Wyatt is on vacation looking at zebras. So we got Tori in to fill in for Combs, but we have a great interview lined up. Are you ready for one of the best interviews that I enjoy the most? 100%. Are you ready?
I am. As much as I am a Wisconsin guy, I really enjoy talking to our guest.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself, Big Zen, Ohio State lineman. I know I want to say left tackle, but you corrected us last time you were on saying that you are a lineman.
Mm-hmm. Now, actually, I'm back to left tackle now.
Oh, so basically what they're saying is we don't know where we're going to put you at, so you're an offensive lineman, Zen, but now, since you're balling out, showing up, showing who's who, like over there, now you're the left tackle.
Yeah,
the left tackle.
Don't love versatility.
That's where I've been practicing at right now. That's pretty much it. Right now, I've been practicing. They put me back at left tackle mainly, so I'm having fun with it. It's like where I know how to play.
Yeah, so you are a left tackle for the Ohio State. So spring practice started last week, but you did not get to start spring practice because you were in quarantine, Zen.
Yeah.
Tell us how that came up and about.
Gosh, it really sucks because me and my roommates, me and Ben at least, we're the only 2 mid-year freshman offensive linemen here. And, of course, we both test positive for COVID probably 3 days before our first spring practice. So we were out all the way up until this Saturday. I got out this last Friday. So yeah. I came back to the apartment and stuff. I had to they put us in hotels, and they got us nice rooms and stuff and brought us food. It kind of just sucked having to sit there though, and you're still in every meeting. You just can't practice or anything. So it was really boring. But we came back, and Saturday we had a workout, and then Sunday Coach Stud, our offensive line coach, came and met with us, and we just did indie drills for an hour and a half, and it was hell. But it let us go full pads on Monday, so we got that first practice out of the way. But overall, it was pretty bad. But I'm just happy to finally be out of quarantine.
Yeah. So I have not had COVID. Tori, have you had COVID?
I have not.
So did you get any of these symptoms? Could you taste your food? Did you lose weight? Vision?
I didn't lose any weight, thank God. I was eating a lot, but I did get really sick for a couple of days. I think I got chills, the flu, flu-like symptoms. I got a really bad fever, and I lost all. It was so weird. I lost all sense of taste abruptly. It was just one random day. I left the hotel room because I was going insane in there, and I went and got a Coke slushie or something from a gas station, and I was just sipping on it, and I was I have no idea what I'm drinking right now. It just tasted like slush. It didn't taste it literally it just felt like I had something in my mouth. I couldn't taste anything. I definitely couldn't smell anything, and my nose was constantly clogged. But I actually just went and we all just got our first round of the vaccine today, so that we can hopefully be like done with masks and stuff in the summer.
Yeah. That would be highly basically exciting, because I am strongly starting to hate my mask and mess up this great beard that I have. And like, you take it off, it's all pushed to one side. I mean, clearly you don't know the like what a beard does to your face, but one day you will learn what a beard is all about. But you were in quarantine for 10 days or so?
Yeah,
a week and a half?
it was 10 days. They cut it down from 14.
So did you feel like you were behind when like spring practice started?
That I did feel like that, and I kind of I talked to Ben and my other coaches, like Coach Stud and our O-line GA, Coach Cook, and I was like, just telling them how worried I was about being behind. That's kind of just how I am. Like, I hate that feeling.
Right.
And they were kind of just kept assuring me that it was fine. Like, I'm already so far ahead being here as an early enrollee and stuff. And me and Ben are both we've already had 2 months of work and stuff that we haven't that was optional. So they kind of just told us not to worry about it, just get through quarantine, and then they'll have us back on Monday, that's why I said on Sunday we had to do to be back for an actual to be cleared. You had to do we had to go get MRI scans and stuff. But that Sunday that we did O-line drills and a warm up and stuff was crucial, because if we didn't do that Sunday, we would have had to do that Monday, which means that we would have not been able to go full pads or anything. We would just had to been in helmets and do the warm up, and then just do any drills, and then we wouldn't be able to practice anymore. But we got that out of the way on Sunday, so we were good to go.
So basically, you had to have X amount of hours in just helmets before you could hit the pads. So much like high school. So guys, just a little insight into Zen. Zen is a type of don't take this the wrong way, Zen, but you are the kid that if there is nothing to be asked, you'd be like, Coach, are you sure there's nothing else that I need to know? Zen is the type of guy that will harp you. I mean, not harp you in a bad way, but Zen wants to know why why this works the way it works. And me being your ex-coach, Zen, you challenged me to up my game just because sometimes I had no clue. I'm just do it because just because I told you to, but man, that doesn't really make sense, does it? So I mean you definitely improve the coaching abilities just by all the questions that you ask. So let's flash back to your Monday, first spring practice. First practice with the big boys. You should still be in high school, and you're playing with grown-ass men out there. How did you feel?
Oh, it was so much fun. After the first rep, you kind of get your jitters out. And you're okay, I'm just playing with other humans. These aren't no one's really I mean, I know I almost said no one's special, but it's still the best players on the planet. But it was really fun. My first pass play. I thought that I had done bad, but the next day in film, Coach Stowe was really happy with everything that I had done. I was okay, I'll just keep doing that. But my first play, so we do rotation. So there's a starters, and then there's the second team, and there's a third team. So I'm running with the third team, which I'm really happy about, because there's a fourth and a fifth round. So I'm happy I was already up in the third team. So we were doing half line pass, which is basically we just do the left guard or left tackle, left guard, and center on one hash, and then right guard, right tackle, and then another center, and you're running plays out that direction, and it makes the drill a little bit easier without having a whole it's basically team, but with half the people. Right. And we were doing pass plays. And my first play, you probably don't know who this is, but Zach Harris, he's he's a senior here, and he's probably going to go first or second round next year as a defensive end. And my first play, I come up to the line, I'm this is the guy I have to block my first, this 23-year-old man. And I just passed it against him, and I had a really good set and stuff. He just beat me inside, and I was mad about it. But they were just yeah, it kind of, that's just. You had a good set, just he's a senior, you're a mid-year freshman, it's going to happen. So we just went through with that. half line pass and all that, and then we moved to half line run, which is the same thing, just run plays. And I think everyone gets like around like 4 or 5 reps. Like that's what I noticed about college practices is that like it's more about like they don't want to like kill you and make you super tired. They want you to be like fresh and like have good reps every time and not just be out there like dying and having crappy reps that you're going like half speed on just to stay alive.
Right.
So like we all got like 4, 5, 6 reps at run plays, and then it was fun because I had finally gotten the jitters out, so I could like, like kind of like play and like feel natural. And one play we have is like B block, which is basically just like a double team and B gap, where like I'm supposed to like knock the hip of the guard and carry it to the linebacker. And I just remember that I came down, I knocked his hip, and I just killed him on it. And I was so happy because I was like, okay, I can actually like compete with these guys. And it was really fun. I mean, I felt like crap afterwards. Me and Ben, we were both dying. Like our bodies were destroyed because we had to lift after the practice because we didn't make up for missed lifts.
Right.
But it was really fun, and it just it kind of finally being early in roll, you're kind of like the whole time you're kind of just like in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, like I can do these workouts and stuff, but like am I gonna like add up or how am I gonna like stack up when everyone has pads on and stuff? I'm just happy that I'm finally like in a comfortable spot with it.
Yeah. Thinking about it, so you were basically third string as a high school senior on a Power 5 college teams, and you are doing great things. And definitely people here in Southern Indiana are very, very excited. So you had your first spring practice on that just a few days ago, and then yesterday you got to experience a pro day. You got to see a kid, I believe it was 42 reps, right, on the bench press.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was it looked like he just had the bar in his hands. It was crazy. He was just it was insane. I've never seen 225 move like that. I think we had our 225 test. Like we do a combine test every other month. And I think mine was 15 reps of 225. So I would my first one was 15, but I got I don't know. They stop you at a certain point. They don't let you go all the way. At least for us as freshmen, they let you burn out, and then you they stop you before you actually burn out.
Right.
They think that you're gonna hurt yourself for some reason. But just seeing him do that was insane.
So 42 reps, and you as basically a high school senior still were doing 15. You know how much I did my senior year of college then?
How many?
9.
9.
Yeah. Tori couldn't even do 1.
I was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I was a pretty boy.
So flashing back to the pro day here, you saw 42 reps on the 225. You saw Justin Fields basically have a incredible pro day. What was your best experience from that pro day experience?
Kind of just being around that environment and seeing kind of what it takes to play at that level, and seeing legitimate first round picks in front of me. It's crazy. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And to add to that, Thayer Munford, our starting left tackle right now, this will be his fourth year starting as the left tackle for Ohio State. And he did a lot of one-on-one coaching with me this last month. We'd go out to the practice fields, and he just helped me with kick steps and stuff. And it was really cool to get that kind of coaching from someone that's gonna go very high in the draft, and seeing them compete on the pro day was so cool too.
Yeah, so you have been at the Ohio State University now going on almost 3 months here. So many of your friends back in high school, they're out on spring break. They're out in Vegas enjoying their time. They're in Kissimmee, Florida, fishing and having a grand old time. Are you a little bit jealous that they are able to go out and enjoy this spring break, but you're out here working your ass off?
Yeah, I'm jealous, but I know that I'm jealous, and I'm also happy that I'm doing this because I know that a lot of my friends, at least that I've talked to, don't have a plan for college yet, and don't know exactly what they want to do and where they want to go. But I'm just happy to like be cemented in a spot, like be on a scholarship and stuff like that. But I definitely just seeing like I had like if I was back home, I probably would have had like 4 opportunities to go to Florida with somebody just for like a week or two.
Right.
I was like, God, that would be so nice right now. I need a break. But the COVID was basically a break. It was just like you kind of just go insane on it.
Yeah. So one thing that I took from my dad, first of all, my dad was a complete hard ass iron fist. Like he raised you with the military style. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yada, yada, yada. The biggest thing that I took from him is like, you will be miserable now, but like when you're on Saturdays and you are on that field and your friends are like in the stands, just just having just cheering you on, that is kind of your spring break each and every week. So definitely, you will have time to enjoy spring break after you're done with college, right? So
yeah.
So you will get that time. So, I mean, spring practice is starting to what you guys have 3 more weeks of spring ball?
Yeah, spring game was on the 17th. We had spring practice today, but on Monday I had like hurt my shoulder. Like I didn't know it at the time, but they think that like on one of my like very first reps, like I guess like I reached too far or something. And I think that I like popped my shoulder and popped it back in or something, and it's just been super sore, but it feels a lot better. I like was in like full pads and stuff today. I just did like they had me like in the pit, which is like our you basically just conditioned for 2.5 hours. It was horrible, but
Yeah.
I just didn't go contact today. I just did some drills and stuff with some other coaches, but I wish I could have gone full contact. It would have been more fun, but I know I
Right.
probably would have hurt myself more. But
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I learned is definitely you will get to know your body very, very, very well. And anytime something starts to nag you just a tad, but it is better just to take a day off or a few hours off, right, to heal that. So, are you expected to play in the spring game? Like, are we going to get to see you on ESPN?
I think so. If they I don't know if they're planning on just doing our first 2 groups, which is like what they do for team. Usually team is our first day. They just did 2, like our starting group and our second group, and then like they rotated me and Ben in like very late in team, like a couple reps just to get in
Right.
there, which was nice. But that's another thing. It's so weird being like the freshman on the sideline watching team now instead of like actually suffering in it. But I hope so. If they do like all 3 groups, then yeah, we will be. But if not, then we're gonna be chilling watching the spring game. But
Okay, so like we do have a couple questions here. Brian Pirtle he comes in. He asks, what number will you be wearing at the Ohio State? 65.
65, yeah. 55 was taken, so I was just like, might as well add just 10.
Yeah. Add 10 more years onto my life, because there's going to be a roller coaster ride here in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So the next question that we had come through here on the Twitter page is that people see all these linemen that have these knee braces on. What are the thought, like, why do all the offensive linemen wear those knee braces?
Oh, it's just to like protect from injury. And I don't know, honestly, I like it. It stops ACL stuff. It doesn't let your knee like if this is my knee, I don't know. I make a knee with my hand. Like it makes it stop. It doesn't let it like hyperextend.
Yeah.
It protects it from like lateral shots and like especially in college, like it's so much faster and so much more physical that like it like middle like split second suddenly your knee's just sideways. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So that brace like protects it, but it also kind of like acts as like another level of structure for your like legs and your stance, and it kind of like it for at least for me, like it just helps me like with my steps and be more like structural. I have more structure in my base and stuff. I don't know. I like them a lot. Everyone else hates them, but I mean I'm a fan.
Well, I can tell you as a strong safety outside linebacker guy, I was 6'2", 235-ish. Every time your big ass would come up here, 6'8", 300 plus pounds, I'm aiming for your knees to take on that block. So
exactly.
Definitely, you definitely need that extra insurance there. Tori, do you have any questions before Zen before we let him go?
I got a very important one, because since he's a freshman, when you're in the hotel, you have to have enough shampoo and conditioner for being in that hotel for 2 weeks pretty much lasting your whole college career now. You stole it all, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they gave us like, oh god, the hotel is like I don't know, it was like called the OSU Hyatt or something. It's like a very like off-brand hotel, I guess, or like off, like it's not like a normal one. So they were kind of like they kind of just like treated us as like very special guests and like dropped stuff off at my door every day. And it was like constant shampoo and like towels and food and stuff. It was cool, but I'm so happy to be out of that hellhole. I hated the hotel.
You don't get the monogram like robe that says Zen on it yet.
No, I did not. But gosh, it was a big room, but it's just like just sitting in the same room for 10 days straight was like a mental test. It doesn't
So-
sound
I'm
that
working from
bad.
home, and this is over a year.
Oh god, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So were you in that room all by yourself, or did you and Ben share a room?
No, I was by myself. I would much rather have been by myself, honestly. If I had to share a room, that would have been like that would suck.
So one more question, then, before we let you go here. Drew, he is a very, very big fan of ours. He says, no offense, but what in the world would you make to choose the Buckeyes?
I mean,
It's the Ohio State for one. That's why.
That's what I was going to say. Like it's when I remember that day so vividly. That Tuesday after we played Elder. Do you remember when I came to practice, Coach Buck, and I was like, I didn't think you were there. I told you, I was like, Coach Buck, I just got an offer from Ohio State. And I was like,
Yeah.
it
Dude,
was
you
just-
were on cloud like 27. Like you were beyond the moon. It was awesome.
It was so cool because I was just like, that's insane. And then I kind of like measured it to every other school that I had like opportunities to play at. And I was like, I would be so dumb not to go here. Good,
Yeah.
like facility at home and stuff, great coaches, like chance to go win a national championship. I don't know. I think it's perfect.
Yes. Yes. So for the people that are new to our station here, you originally committed to the Ville,
Oh.
right? You were confitted to like the Cards. You were 100% in, and then like you went from like a 3 or like a 2.5 star to like a 3 star, right? And then over the summer, you blew up to like a 5-star recruit. You know, you put on what 80 pounds from your junior to senior year, right? Yeah, and then like and then you started getting offers from like Florida State and LSU and Kansas State and KAU and like I was like, wow, Zen is getting all these offers and he committed. Oh, well, like he needs to go explore and have some fun.
That's what I like had realized. It kind of sucked that there were no visits. That's like the main reason I
Yeah.
committed so early because I knew that like visits. I think they're just now opening up at the end of June or at the
Right.
beginning of June. So it's like I wouldn't have been. I wasn't gonna be able to take visits regardless. But it was
Yeah.
still. I
If
think,
he would have been able to take visits, he'd have been a Badger.
I'm sure. It's too cold there. I would hate that.
Too
First
too
3
cold.
weeks-
We are O-line you, buddy.
I know, but
How
If you want to
many
go to the NFL, you come to Wisconsin. And actually,
Wisconsin loses to Ohio
that-
State every year.
That's the bad part. I got
know.
one of my old bosses. He reminds me every year about the Big Ten title game when we lost 59-0 when we were undefeated. I'm like, that was awful.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that's a conversation we can all have on the side someday about my thoughts on things in the current state.
All right, Zen. So before we let you go, I mean, people down here in Southern Indiana, they are really proud of you. They are, you know, like I enjoy watching you grow and succeed and like have great time. First of all, save those black cleats for the game, man. Those are
Oh, yeah.
the best looking cleats I've ever seen ever. So going into your freshman year, what is your realistic goals for your freshman year at Ohio State?
I really just want to get better. Like, freshman year, it is so, especially at this level now, it's so rare for like a true freshman, especially with a 4-year starter in front of me.
Yeah.
There's a very, very slim chance that I'd ever get that shot. But to get in at the end of like blowouts or something would be super fun. Whatever. I really just want to use this year as like a developmental
Yeah.
figure everything out. Like it's been like just these past 2 months from like the stupid like indie drills we did in like tennis shoes the first couple weeks we were here to now I feel like so much better and more confident in like all my footwork and stuff. And I can only imagine by the end of my freshman year I'll be I think I'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, like at least for me, from like my senior year of high school to my freshman year of like college, like I knew in the back of my head that I was better than like everybody else out there, but it was like a confidence thing. Like I didn't have time to really gain confidence in like just like in myself, just because like I was a late guy, because like my high school didn't graduate till late June, so I couldn't report to camp till July. So there were freshmen that had been there since January, just like you, and so like they had confidence for the last 7 months, and I had none. So you being there is a huge deal.
Yeah, that's another thing that like most kids that like that are like, I guess like Winkers and stuff that are going. Winkers are going to Illinois State. Isaac doesn't count. He's a walk-on, long snapper. Like I kept telling Winkers he should go early. Like Winkers, like it's such a good opportunity, but I guess he just wanted to. Oh, he had track. That's why it was track.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's definitely a great opportunity. Just to like and get spring ball. I mean, like it's a great chance to build confidence, unless you get just like killed your first day. That didn't happen.
Well, Zen, I am glad you are having success, and we are definitely looking forward to that spring game. Hopefully, we're like you get some reps in, and we able to get to see you. Hey, there's number 665. Like I know that kid, so we're definitely pulling for you, man. Have a great day.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Yeah,
right, have a good night, bud.
All righty, guys. So that is Zen Molowski with the Ohio State. We used to introduce him as the offensive lineman, but he has now been officially put at left tackle. So I'm pretty excited, like about that. Tori, Zen's a great kid.
He is great kid. Always fun to listen to him. Well, it's the first time I actually got to talk to him. Normally, I just talk trash in the chat to him, but. But one of my favorite things is when he comes on. Such a kind, nice young guy, and getting to go with him on his journey. To any young listeners that we have that are playing football, that might have colleges looking at them. This is a great way to journal it and say, this is what I need to do, and this is what I'm watching this guy go through it. The only people that were recruiting me when I was a senior in high school, there was 4 of them: the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force.
There you go. Yeah. So, and then like one thing that I can really tell about Zen is like usually when like, big prolific athletes, like 5-star athletes, go to a college, like their ego kind of blows up like a tad bit, and they're like, oh, I'm too good to talk to you like anymore. Zen is still the same kid that I knew 3 or 4 years ago. Like he is still humble, he's still kind, and me and him literally text every day. So it's a great opportunity for Zen. Happy for him. So, Tori, let's go ahead and take our first break, man. On the other side of the break, we got some sports talk happening. We got some Final Four has been set. We got UCLA, Gonzaga, Baylor, and Houston. There's going to be a first ever winning coach there. What else do we got coming up? Oh, we got NFL Pro Days. We're going to talk Justin Fields and Mac Jones as well. And, of course, we're going to talk a little bit of Jimmy G, because, why not talk about Jimmy G, right? Justin Fields is going to take his job.
Every day is Jimmy G Day right now.
All right, guys. All that and much more here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back out of this short little break.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson tonight. The man, the myth, the legend himself behind the admin chat there. So, Tori, we didn't get a chance to give a proper introduction to start the show off, but let's go ahead and let the people know who you are, where you're from, what you're all about, who your rooting interests are, etc.
So, as you know, I'm usually the man behind the scenes, setting everything else up, making sure everybody's staying in line. Tori Anderson. I live in, obviously, Madison, Wisconsin. Huge Badger fan. Huge Packer fan, so that's a fix. Combs wants to pull his hair out if he had any every single day. My Milwaukee Bucks, I love my Bucks, and absolutely love my Brewers. So I am a complete hometown sports homer. I also help write the blog for the website and pretty much take care of anything that Mike and Wyatt and Brandon need taken care of when we go behind the scenes.
Yeah. So fun fact, guys. Like, we brought Tori on roughly about, I don't know, a month ago or so, three weeks, and like our communication like among each other is it's always been great. But Tori seems to like I have like a fire that like burns, and then like every time like I bring somebody else like onto the team, I feel like I got to step up my game like even more. And you are the type of person that made me step up my game twice. So like, you guys are going to start seeing a lot of improvements here on the on the show itself. I mean, the After Hours has already improved. If you're not a member and would like to check out the After Hours show, head over to manhourradio.com and become a member. As little as $3 a month, you can get all the After Hours footage, all the blog posts, discounts on clothing. If you become a gold member, that's $5 a month, Tori. You get a free t-shirt or a hoodie after 6 months of being a member there. So, I mean, easy money, right? I mean, $5 it's a monster. Like a monster, like I buy 3 monsters a day. That's $6.40. So
Jesus. You got to have a heart attack.
Well, okay, Cindy. I mean Tori. Like, Cindy asked me that. Like I don't drink all 3 of them like in like one sitting. Like, you know,
just don't
like
cross them one after another.
Well, no, like they always have this deal like buy 3 for $5, right? So like you have to, like, you feel obligated to buy 3. Like you just don't want to go and buy 1, right?
I don't drink energy drinks. I never have, but I will drink coffee 24/7. And that's the one thing that the girlfriend hates. I'll make a cup of coffee at 8:00 at night, pound it, drink it, and go to bed at 9:00 and be out.
See, and I'm the exact opposite. I drink a half a cup of coffee. 15 minutes later, I'm walking downstairs and sitting down for 45 minutes because it doesn't agree with my belly. So if you catch my drift there a little bit. So speaking of not agreeing with my belly here, let's talk a little bit of Final Four here. UCLA, they were the first 4. What do they call it? The first 4 in, I think it was. Yeah. So it's the first 4 in, and now they're the final. They are in the Final Four along with Gonzaga, Baylor, and Houston. I sat here on the Man Hour show about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, when the tournament first started and like all these upsets started happening, and then you basically said the same thing, but basically said it in like a better wording, that the cream always rises to the top. So therefore, we have the number 1 overall seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the number 1 seed Baylor Bears, number 2 seed Houston Cougars, and then the 11 seed UCLA Bruins. Did college basketball need these 1 and 2 seeds to make it to the Final Four, to make it a valid tournament?
I think so. Everybody wants to see it. It sucks when you see like the chalk bracket. Like you always see like when they do the ex-presidents, like President Obama. It was a chalk bracket. Like that, to me, that's the cheap way out. That's the chump way out. I mean, is it good for people that don't know much about college basketball and go chalk? Yeah. But like for people like us that get invested, we're like, oh, and I will say we will be the first people in the entire world that will overthink it. And we will look at a game for 20 minutes flip-flopping. Like, what about this? Well, they're ranked this way offensively, and they got a defensive rating. Like, we will overthink it instead of just making that pick. And that's why we end up losing our brackets usually. But overall
Right.
for the tournament, I think it's good. It's good for those programs, especially like, and we've talked about that before, like a program like Gonzaga, their only sport basically is basketball.
Right.
You know, if it's not for them, they're not on the map for anything. So for them, yes, absolutely, that's a great thing. You know, as far as the rest of them, even Houston, it's a great revival story for Houston. Houston's one of those teams that, you know, in the 80s with Clyde Drexler and Ralph Sampson was a dominant team that really has been kind of up and down since. So it's great to see them. You know, like we were kind of talking as well with now even UCLA. Yeah, UCLA is an 11 seed, but they're a blue blood. They always have been a blue blood.
Yeah.
But they've had down years. So to me, I think for that of any team in this whole tournament, they're going to end up benefiting the most from having to play against top-notch competition. It's their kind of way of saying, we're back.
Right, yeah. I mean, UCLA, this has definitely been a great tournament run for them because they had to beat teams like Michigan State with the Tom Izzo. You know, like you never count Tom Izzo out. If you let him in, he's going to make a deep run 9 times out of 10. The Michigan Wolverines, they were clicking on all cylinders. Abilene Christian was a really, really good team as well. I forget who they played in the first round game. Who did they play in that first round game?
Did they play Texas?
No, Texas.
No.
Texas played Abilene Christian.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Man, who did they play? Oh, it was Drake. Yeah, it was it was Drake. It was a 6 seed Drake. So I mean, they had a very, very tough road to get where they're at. 100%. So I'm going to ask you this: has UCLA made the best tournament run ever in your eyes?
I think if they make the final, hands down, yeah, they do. Just because they're again playing from the first 4 in, I think they're probably the first team ever to do that. If I'm not mistaken, they're the first
VCU
team.
did it in the first year, 2011. They went from the first
that's
4
what I was
in
kind of
to
thinking. I'm
the
like,
final 4. Yeah,
I couldn't remember if VCU did it or not.
Yeah.
Because at first I was thinking George Mason, but that was prior to the play-in game. So
right.
So I think it is. If they make the title game, it is. Because right now, then I kind of put them on the same level as VCU. Then, so that program there again is a program that's gonna end up helping them no matter what. But yeah, people are gonna look back at this tournament and go, man, you remember when UCLA made their comeback and they announced it with authority in the tournament? Yeah,
Right.
if they win and they make the finals, absolutely. And then at that point, I'm almost even money that they don't win the title.
Yeah, there is always that story like that team, like you can circle like a week and a half ago, like, man, if these guys make it to this point, they are going to the finals. And I thought that was the Michigan Wolverines. Like, I thought if they made it past the second round, they were going to the Final Four. But they ran into a great USC or UCLA team. So one team that you brought up was the Houston Cougars. You know, their rise back to dominance, yada, yada, yada. Look who their coach is. It is Kelvin Sampson. And you are a Big Ten guy. You know Sampson from 2008, I believe, when he was an IU coach.
Oh, yeah, he coached IU.
Yeah,
Back when
and
they were semi-relevant.
yeah, and he got fired because he texted players. And people were scrutinizing him up and down, left and right. So you, me, Wyatt were kind of in like a Facebook, Twitter war with some IU fans. So Wyatt isn't here, and like you are a Big Ten guy. You have a lot of Big Ten knowledge. What is your initial thoughts on this Mike Woodson hire for IU?
It's like I'm not a huge fan of it. It's an NBA pedigree hire. It's this guy's an alum. We're bringing him home. It's not much different. And like I said with Zen, this is a sidebar conference. It's like Wisconsin. We want to bring our coaches home. You know, like so. Yeah, we have Paul Chryst. We're going to be good every year, but are we going to probably win a national title? Probably not. You know, it's that mentality that we're going to bring in our guy. You know, this guy is a homegrown guy. Because is he going to stick? Probably. Are you going to fire him? Most likely, because he's not going to. He's not that needle mover. And as I said in the chat the other day, Wisconsin back in the early '90s had hired Stu Jackson, who previously had been fired as the New York Knicks head coach. Wasn't a big significant signing. Stu Jackson led that program, and actually he coached Michael Finley when Michael Finley was there. he started recruiting well. Rashad Griffin, who I think was like the number 2 or 3 recruit in the country at the time, came to Wisconsin. It was him and Eric Montross, I do believe, were like the number 1 and 2 recruits in the country. He got Rashad Griffin to come to Wisconsin. Like, could it work out that way? Absolutely. Do I think it will? No. Mike Woodson has had initial success wherever he's gone, but it's never been sustained success. He may have an initial, he might, basically we can call it the Harbaugh effect. A great shock value for that first couple of years, and we're back, and then taper off and right back downhill.
Right. So, Combs kind of went into a rant that I don't want to get into again tonight. It was a race issue and like why they actually hired him. So, do you think they hired Mike Woodson because of the NBA ties that like he has? Maybe he can bring in some of these one and done recruits, or do you think that he can actually sustain a program?
IU has always been built just like any other Big Ten. There's not many teams in the Big Ten that bring people in to be one and done. It's usually that 3 to 4 year guy. Right. Your 1 year wonder guys are for your North Carolinas, your Dukes, your Kentucky, stuff like that. That's not the Big Ten pedigree. It's why the Big Ten always maintains such a solid reputation as a good conference, because those teams always stick together. They build that cohesiveness. Like, I already know, like, my Badgers will be terrible next year. They've got like 7 freshmen and like 4 sophomores and like 1 senior. So right. Like it's going to be a learning experience. But 2 years down the road, they'll probably be the number 2 or 3 team in the country looking to make a run.
And get knocked out in the second round, right?
Right. If not first round.
Yeah. So are you kind of beating around the bush saying that IU is kind of just happy being mediocre, being just good enough to make it to the tournament and maybe win one game? Like are those words coming out of your mouth?
I think they are trying to rebuild, is the honest to God truth. They are, but there again, when you rebuild, you start small, you start baby steps. You might be looking, okay, we just want to make the tournament. All right, now we just want to win a game. There again, that just gets your name back out there. It starts raising your recruiting profile, everything else. They took a major hit over the last 15 years to their program. I mean, if you've seen it, the program hasn't been really relevant since the mid-2000s. Right. And they haven't made the tournament in 6 years. What does that say about your program? If you're a top-notch program, you might miss a year, but you're never going to miss 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Other programs, Nebraska for a while, probably 2 years ago, Nebraska was a better program than them. Penn State, Northwestern, like these schools that aren't basketball powerhouses were better schools in the Big Ten than them. Did they sustain it? Absolutely not. But nonetheless, they did it. And they're kind of that middle of the pack program. So right now, I think, they should temper their expectations of we're going to go out and win the national title next year. No, temper your expectations, because you're kind of trying to get back to respectability. Right. That's my biggest issue with all that, is that, look to make the tournament, maybe win a game, and build from there. It's what they're going to have to do. It's what every program throughout history has ever done. No program came into Division I and said, I'm dominant.
True. Yeah. So as you see here, if you guys watch on youtube.com/manhour, I am wearing my Kansas State University shirt here for this very reason, because I knew I was going to bring up IU tonight to a Big Ten guy, and I do know we do have some IU fans here in the chat as well. You know what their comment to me, Tori, was on the old Facebook page? They said, you have no right to talk about college basketball because you are a Kansas State fan. Kansas State has been further in the NCAA tournament most recently than IU. The difference between me and IU fans is I am happy that we just are on the expectations of trying to make the tournament. I'm happy as a 13, 14 seed. Just let us in, hey, successful season. You guys expect to be in the Final Four year after year after year. Do what Tori says, lower your expectations a tad bit, right? Right, absolutely. And it's not so much lower, but temper them. Build back to what you were. You don't get there overnight just because your name's Indiana University and you had a great basketball program. Like the one guy that was
just running his multiple the Indiana program. And I said,
he's here in the chat.
Yeah, and I said, you said we win championships. I said, congratulations, that was 1987. I said, the difference is I don't expect my team to win it every year, but I expect them to contend.
Right. So let me bring up Stacy's comment here, like over here on the chat. She says they think they should have hired Pitino. I don't think Pitino is ever going to get a big college coaching job ever again, the way he kind of blew up the Louisville scene there.
He will.
And then he doesn't recruit well and just end up pushing up. So saying that YouTube is having problems. So definitely sorry about that, guys. We will try to get that figured out. I just refreshed my page on the YouTube. So if you push F5 or just refresh it or close down your application, it will reopen again. So hopefully nothing is going too bad again. So yeah, so Mrs. Smith there, just go ahead and shut down your YouTube and then reopen it. It did work for me. So Tori, let's go ahead and shift gears from the amateur leagues that get paid, a couple $1,000s a week from boosters to people that get paid a couple $1,000s a minute here. Let's go ahead and talk about Jimmy G. It is National Jimmy G talk off season for the next month and a half here. All signs are pointing towards that Jimmy G will not be traded for the San Francisco 49ers. Although reports are surfacing that the Patriots want to reach out to him, bring him in, and then some anonymous tip there. I love these anonymous tips or unnamed sources saying that the price hasn't been right for Jimmy G to get moved on from the 49ers yet. So with that being said, I am going to ask you this question. How much is Jimmy G worth?
Oh, to which team? To the Patriots?
Let's just say the Patriots, just because they seem to be the front runner here. Combs thinks he's a perfect fit in New England. Hoffy, the guy we're going to have on here at the top of the hour, is a huge Patriots fan. He is all for Jimmy G. So what is Jimmy G worth to the Patriots in like a trade value type situation?
Well, they basically gave him to the 49ers when they traded him away, but he doesn't have obviously doesn't have the upside of a Deshaun Watson or a Russell Wilson. I would say you could probably get him, if the Patriots looked at it, probably a first and maybe a third or a fourth round pick. You're going to have to give up at least one first for him. Right. I don't think you're going to get more than one first for him. So what they're talking about, like if the price is right, is somebody not offering a first round pick? Because I can see that. Why would you give up a first round pick for an oft injured quarterback? The guy is phenomenal when he plays. He's good.
Of the time.
Yeah, but they're getting half the time. So nobody's going to give up a ton. Maybe, and there again, the Patriots, if they think they get him, that puts them back into that Super Bowl title contender. All right, you're giving up basically the, in their eyes, that like a 28 pick in the first round, which you're not getting your impact player generally at the 28 pick. So, I would say a first and third for Jimmy G, just because you don't want to give up a ton.
Yes.
And I agree with Brandon and with Hoffy, though. He's a good quarterback. He was a great quarterback in New England when Brady went down. But there again, he's a system quarterback.
Right.
He doesn't fit. He works good in San Francisco system when he's healthy.
Right.
But could probably be great if he went back to New England.
Yeah, so just to add to your point there are many quarterbacks that are good for a couple games in New England. Me being a Kansas City Chiefs guy, Matt Castle comes to mind. He played, 3 games for the Patriots, and the Chiefs threw like $100 million. I'm like, here, take all of our money and, win two games for us, right? You are a Packer guy. Matt Flynn comes to mind there too. He had 2 great games through for like 800 or 900 yards in those week 16, 17 games. Went to Seattle, never heard from him ever again. I think he actually ended up back up on the Packers 2 years, like after removed or something to that effect.
2 years after it, when Rodgers went down, and we were down to Scott Tolzien as our quarterback, and they re-signed Matt Flynn. And I was at his first start as a Packer again. I was at that game, was against the Vikings, and it ended in a tie.
Sheesh. Yeah, and then Nick Foles also comes to mind. He is great as a backup in Philly, but not very good anywhere else. So I want to put you on the spot here because there were some words that you said that are still ringing in my ears, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around what you said. Basically, watching the Patriots last season, are you saying that if Jimmy G go to the Patriots right now, with like as they're currently constructed, with not going through the draft, are they Super Bowl contenders?
If Jimmy G stays healthy, I think they're in the conversation. They signed, it seems like, half the NFL this offseason.
Right.
So they addressed all of their needs. How they get there again? How the rest of the league hasn't caught on how New England does this stuff, I don't know. But yeah, they're probably one of the top 6 teams if Jimmy G goes there right now. With Cam Newton, they're looking at best, in my opinion, a 6-10 season.
Really? Even like we sat here on the Man Hour. Like I'm not for sure like if you were a fan or not, but the first 4 weeks of the season, Cam Newton was playing great. Combs is like, man, this guy's an MVP caliber quarterback right now. And then the COVID hit, and then he was never quite the same quarterback. Like I felt like his head was kind of just like out there. So if Cam Newton is playing at MVP caliber level, he won MVP 2015, 2014. Do you think he is just as good as Jimmy G though?
Not anymore. No. I don't. If you watch Cam's throwing now, I don't know what
hurts
happened.
Me. Yeah, it hurts me watching it.
he has no strength left in his arm. And I don't know if that's just from the years of getting beat up when he was in Carolina. He's battled injury after injury after injury. I've always been a Cam fan. Yeah. I'm never going to root against Cam. His fashion sense, that's a little debatable. But as a player, he's phenomenal. And you could watch as the year went on, his arm got weaker and weaker, and he was down to throwing 5-yard outs. And you could only tread Dilfer it so long in this league and make a career on that. And he still does try to run around and still tries to make plays, but that's the strength of his game, right? Like today, it's not him being able to make all the throws anymore. And that's where I think you have the advantage with Jimmy G. Yeah, you're going to lose the mobility, but he can make almost all the throws.
Okay, so before we go to our next break, let's go ahead and put you on the spot, put you on the record here on the Man Hour, Big X Sports Radio 96.1. Does a trade for Jimmy G happen before the draft?
No.
How about after the draft?
I could see post June 1st. I could see potentially right before training camp.
Okay. So are you going to Wyatt hit and kind of take the down the middle answer, or are you going to jump on one side or the other here?
No, I say the trade happens sometime between after the draft and between the start of training camp, though.
All right, you heard it here first. Torrey Anderson says Jimmy G is getting traded to the Patriots May 17th. So stay tuned for that, guys. All right, so we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we're going to dabble our toe in some fantasy baseball. We do have our fantasy baseball draft tonight. I'm going to destroy you guys, so I'm going to tell you how I'm going to destroy you right after the break here.
16 catcher.
I got a kid. We'll be right back, guys. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Tori Anderson tonight. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio as well. Or you can head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the podcast link there. Click on the top link there. It'll play the most recent episode that we have uploaded to our website. Also, you can become a members over there. Click on the members only tab. As low as $3 a month. You get access to the after hours footage. You get access to all the blogs, merchandise discounts, and of course some fantasy baseball as well. You can join one of our fantasy baseball leagues there. So Tori, it's been a great show so far, and quite frankly, it is time for the show to go downhill. We have been talking too much football. It has been too much Tori and Buck time. It is time to bring on Hoffy, our baseball lackey himself. Hoffy, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Tori, what's up, buddy?
What up, Hoffy?
So
Hey,
if you
Buck, how
notice,
doing?
he has all of his Brewers gear on. He actually, during that break, he actually went to his bedroom, literally took off all of his clothes just to go put on his Brewer stuff just to make you happy.
So he's wearing my favorite hat of all time, and
Yeah.
in fact, I actually lost the one that I have. I got to go to go get a new one from Lids.
Is the Brewers logo the best logo in the Major League?
Yeah, I think I honestly owned that hat for about 2 years before I realized that the logo was a M and a B from Milwaukee Brewers. I just thought it was a glove of the ball, and that's why I loved it for so long.
Wait, it's an MLB?
Yeah, see, so like,
Oh,
man,
yeah,
you
yeah,
learn something
I-
new
I-
every day.
I definitely see it now. Yeah, that's
Never-
awesome.
see, it's me, and I'm not going to go total homer. I say this logo is the second best because for whatever reason, I always loved the Montreal Expos logo.
That was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also love the original Astros ones that it was like the star, but it's like the like the 3/4 star, right? Like I always loved that one too. That was always a good logo. So Hoffy, we are going to dabble in a little bit of fantasy baseball talk here. So fun fact, I have never played fantasy baseball ever, but I am going to win the Man Hour League because I'm just that damn good at fantasy sports here. Tori, have you ever played fantasy baseball?
I have not.
So Tori's going to come in second. Me and him are going to battle for the championship. We're going to destroy Combs because Combs is our fantasy guy, right? Like air quotes there. So Hoffy, do you play fantasy baseball?
I do, yeah. But did Combs remember to set his draft picks correctly this time?
I honestly really hope that he gets first round because I think he is auto drafting because some family issues have come up to him and like
Tim Wakefield with that first overall pick.
Yeah. No, actually, I really hope he gets Trevor Power. I would love it if he got Trevor Power.
Great.
So Hoffy, tell me a little bit about fantasy baseball. Like what? Like when you get your first round pick, like what position do you normally try to go after? Do you go after a pitcher? Do you go after a left fielder? A person that is batting the four hole? Like what is your goal? Like strategy.
It's gonna change every year, but I mean, you got to kind of look at the numbers and such. But Mike Trout's a guy that I loved for a while, but now he's kind of getting up there. So now I'm leaning towards Acuna, Tatis Jr. So I think you kind of got to look at those young stars that you project being MVP caliber players and having that kind of year.
So we're basically looking at somebody that's going to bat about 300 or 400, right? Score a lot of runs. Like, is that what we're hunting for?
Yeah, for the most part, with today's game, it's going to be your shortstops, your center fielders, maybe your third baseman for some pop. But I feel that you get your best value probably out of the shortstop position.
So do you draft every position like you got to have like a first base, second base, like et cetera, or do you just have like a bunch of 9 players like on there?
Yeah, you gotta have all position players.
Okay. So
Well, I want to draft 16 catchers.
Well, that's why you're gonna come in second, not first.
yeah, I mean,
Because Buck's gonna get all pitchers.
I'm going to
all my
draft all first
transactions.
basemans. Yeah. All catchers. Ridiculous. So let me ask you this legitimate question here. So I don't know because Major League Baseball obviously plays like 7 days a week, right? So does Major League Baseball fantasy go from like Monday to like Saturday and you get like the best scores? Like, all right, how does it exactly work? Because Combs did a horrible job explaining that. Like, let's just be flat and honest. Like, he was trying to, dangle that cookie and it's like, hey, he just wants to win. So give us some real advice.
It's difficult because it's a daily thing. unlike the football where you wake up in the morning, you look at your your sports cast and see what's up. You got to do it every day, so it is difficult. There's going to be many days where you forget to set that lineup, forget to do this and that. But I find out that tends to be when you do your best.
Right.
And I think Combs even won his league last year, and he didn't even he got the prize from was it Tim Leonard? He didn't even know he was in the league. So I mean, maybe the best bet is to just leave it on auto draft and not touch it.
Right. So you said Mike Trout is the best guy to pick. I'm probably going to go with Tatia. I think. That's
what I was saying. It was always Trout, but now I'm leaning
Right.
towards Tatis, Acuna.
Gotcha.
Maybe Judge, but I don't think he stays healthy.
So
That's the other thing.
Tori, I know you're going to draft 16 catchers here, but are you going to go with Salvador Perez as your first overall pick?
No,
I mean that's the best catcher in the game.
Omar Narvaez.
Oh, Homer.
And then my second pick's going to be Manny Pena. And then I'll go for all the other catchers.
You are crazy here. But
Where's
Javi,
Pete Rodriguez on that list?
Do we get to carry a minor leaguer in this league?
there are some great minor leaguers. Mitt Jr., I mean, he is technically a minor leaguer, but he'll be up in the in the majors probably by May, you think, Javi?
Who, Bobby?
Yeah.
Bobby Witts Jr.?
Yep.
Yeah,
I thought he made the roster.
I'm surprised that if he's not on the roster that he's not, but maybe they're doing something similar with the Chris Bryant, just trying to get an extra year of, eligibility out of him. So yeah, like you said, if he's not on that roster now, I don't doubt that, within a month or two, May or June.
Yeah, they actually bumped him down to a minor league, and they bumped Wade Davis up to complete the 40-man roster for the Kansas City team there. So it's probably some contract stuff to whatever, yada yada yada. But Javi, we have you on here to really talk about baseball. We are after our next break, we are going to cover your tier 1, tier 2 baseball teams, you have them, the top dogs and the World Series hopefuls. But opening day is right now. If you guys are listening to us on Big X Sports Radio, there's already been a couple games started here. But give me a couple teams and players that are going to have great opening day games.
You got the Mets. They haven't allowed a run in their last 20 opening day innings. They won 1-0 last year against the Braves. I think that's going to change it up. I think they're going to give up their first run in quite some time. I think you got a game in the Bronx Bombers versus the Blue Jays. Since Stanton joined the Yankees in 2018, they haven't lost an opening day game. I think they lose this year to the Blue Jays. And Stanton's been hot. 6 for 11 in those 3 games, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. I think he goes hitless. So that's my prediction for that game. And Houston's going to have a problem. Zach Greinke is 0-5 as an opening day starter. They're going against the Athletics. I think that's going to continue, and his ERA of 8 might even get higher than that.
Yeah, that is really Zach Greinke has never won an opening day game.
No, he is Zach Greinke, 5 opening days. No. In fact, Houston has won 9 straight opening days, so I think that streak is going to end with Greinke this year.
So even when Greinke was with the Royals, he never. Did he ever, I can't remember if he pitched.
I think it was with the Royals, and I think it was with the Diamondbacks, because you've had Verlander on this Astros team, which is why he hasn't been the ace on that team.
That's crazy. Tori, any questions for Javi there before we head over to our next break?
Over under on Stanton striking out 300 times this year.
Ooh.
Over or under?
Under, because he can't stay healthy enough.
That's true. If he stayed healthy for 162, I'd put him in the 350 range.
Yeah, absolutely. 350 and 60 home runs.
Stanton strikes out like I play MLB The Show, where if I'm playing online, I just swing at everything.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Lumberjack.
So Tori, I know which way Combs and Javi like Javi swings as far as the hitter purposes go in the major league. But are you a type of guy that wants big home runs and score a lot of runs, or are you going to hit for an average? What is your ideal player, Tori?
The combination, the Ken Griffey Juniors.
Oh,
give me the guy that
okay, Wyatt. Pick one.
The thing is,
high average or home runs.
All the above.
You can do both. My favorite player of all time is Will Clark. Will Clark to me had one of the prettiest swings in all of baseball of all time. And early on in his career, he would hit 320, 325, and he'd hit 30 bombs a year.
Right.
As the steroid era ushered in, his numbers started going down because he was getting older and wasn't doing any of that. But still, like, give me that type of player, that gritty player that's going to go out and he's just going to hit the ball. But I would rather hit for average, get him on, and you should know this saying well because he's the ex-Brewer skipper, he's the ex-Royal skipper, the Ned Yost way to coach. Get him on, get him over, get him in. The small ball. I am that way. Home runs bring the fans, but get him on, get him over, and get him in. That's what wins you ball games.
And Hoffy, just for the people that are new to our show and like don't know your views on like on the baseball, what are your views of the
bombs and bat flips, baby? But no, I agree with Tori Anderson. I mean, I'm. Why can't you do both?
Because you can't have both. You can't have your pie and eat it too. It's just that's something that my mom always said.
Bonds did for quite some time before the juice started to take away his stealing abilities. But there's been many players. Tatis, Acuna. There's plenty of players.
Gallant.
Yeah, Trout, Miguel
Bellinger.
Cabrera. He's getting. He's about 100 years old now. But I mean, the list goes on. I'd take Nomar Garciaparra, Troy Tulowitzki. I mean, and they're on your lesser tier of the superstars, but even they did both.
Right. Gary Sheffield in his prime. Give me a Gary Sheffield in his prime, and I'm winning the World Series every year. You give me a team full of those.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are just come on. Give me 75 home runs, 103 strikeouts, and 16 ejections, and I'm a happy person. Like, just come on.
That doesn't exist.
Yes, it
those
is.
No, those strikeouts are 300. It's called Stanton.
Yeah.
That is a lot of strikeouts. 300 in a season.
Just watch.
I mean, that is 2 a game.
He'll go 0 for 4 on opening day with at least 3.
Okay. Is that a bold prediction? Are you sticking by it? Are you putting it down?
Yeah, I mean, you got the pitchers in this game between the Blue Jays and Yankees came in second and third in last year's Cy Young race. So yeah, I think he's going to have a hard time with their Japanese pitcher. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name.
Who got first in the Cy Young?
Was it? It was from the Indians. And that is why.
Yeah, Bieber.
Bieber, and that's why Combs is off his rocker if he thinks they're not going to be somewhat decent.
And then the previous year, wasn't it old Trevor Bauer? Yeah.
Franmil Reyes. Watch out for him.
Okay, there you go. You guys heard it here first. We're going to take our next break. On the other side of the break, we're going to dive deeper into Tier 1 and Tier 2 baseball talk with Hoffy, the World Series hopefuls, and the top dogs of the Major League Baseball. All that coming up here on the Man Hour, guys. We'll be right back. to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson, of course, Hoffy tonight as well. Join us the last hour of the show here. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio as well. Or you can head over to youtube.com/manhour and hit that subscribe button as we do upload the clips up there every day moving forward here. So I am committing to that 100%. I got to get better with that, and I am. Like, that's just the way it is, the way it's going to be, because I'm a man of my word. Right, guys? Something like that. Yeah. I'm a man.
Depends on the day.
Yeah. Well, it is Thursday. It is April 1st here. So Thursdays are the best day of the week. I get my most work done, and plus Easter's coming. I'm pretty excited about Easter. I'm really excited about not putting on pants for 4 straight days. Really excited about that. But let's go ahead and get into some baseball talk, guys. Hoffy, you have given us tier 7 through 3, basically people that are just not going to be very good in 2021 to people that are going to be the best third place team out there, i.e. the Milwaukee Brewers. So, Tori, I feel like you wanted to address some comments towards Hoffy, like about putting your Brewers so low. Like,
Hoffy's lucky I wasn't on the show last night. I was swearing at my phone. So, and the thing is I found something even more laughable than Hoffy putting them in third place.
I don't really have them in third place. I have them actually in second place, 2 games behind the Cubs, but they were, that interesting team, but I wouldn't doubt that they could beat the Cubs, but I feel the Cubs offense this year is going to trump the defense and the pitching of the Brewers, but I do have it only being a 2-game race.
Yeah, the CBS rankings, I don't know if you saw the CBS rankings come out the other, or actually I think it was today that I sent in the group chat. Yep. Every single expert picked the Cardinals to win the division. And like 2 of them had the Cubs, or 2 had the Brewers second, 3 had the Cubs second, and then 1 of them had the Brewers finishing 4. Yeah, they had the Reds finishing ahead of the Brewers. I'm like, all right, our offense isn't that great this year, but we're better than the Reds.
And Yelich is due for a bounce back, and that's where I think it comes into it. If Yelich has a Yelich year, then they beat the Cubs. But I just think it's going to be a rough year for that offense, and I think it's a 2-team race between the Cubs and the Brewers.
To me, the dark horse for the Brewers whole season is, I know Combs gets down on their pitching. The Brewers actually have a pretty good pitching staff.
Oh, absolutely.
For the first time in, 40 years, it feels like.
They have a top 10, both starting and bullpen.
To me, Travis Shaw, if Travis Shaw becomes Travis Shaw of the Brewers in 2016 and 17.
Yep. He was good for us.
That offense is transformed. If he's hitting 30 bombs and returned to his form with the mayor of Ding Dong City, he's that offense now just became super potent. Between Yelich, Hira, and him, that's a lot of stuff. The other one is Lorenzo Cain. Cain opted out last year. The year before, he had a really down year for him, a career 300 hitter, and he hit like 242, I think, which is just a sharp decline for him. And if that continues, also that right there is going to bring it right back down. So it doesn't matter what anybody else does. If your leadoff guy can't get on base, you're already starting behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely.
Well, the reason why he was doing so bad because he missed Kansas City so much, and he was looking to find a way to get back to Kansas City. So he was right in front of me making a game-saving catch on opening day in 2019. So only time will tell. He's going to end up back in Kansas City. But speaking that somebody isn't in Kansas City, Kansas City is not in your tier 2 rankings there, Hoffy. Your tier 2 rankings are World Series hopefuls, and the first team that you have listed here are the Atlanta Braves. They did go 35-25 in the 2020 shortened season here. So Braves look like a very solid team last year. They struggled in the playoffs a tad bit. So you had them as World Series hopefuls. Why do you have them up so high?
So, I mean, you got Acuna, Freeman, Ozuna, Albies. They're going to carry this top 10 offense. They're certainly going to get some help from their 6th-ranked pitching staff, which, pretty much crumbled last year. But that was more a product of bad luck, more so than, design. So I expect Charlie Morton and Anderson to, have pretty solid years. And I think the Braves win this division, but it's going to be tough to compete with my Padres.
Tori, thoughts?
Yeah. To me, reason, natural progression. It is such a young roster that for the last 3 years, it was always wait till these guys get going, wait till these guys get going, wait till these guys. These guys have now matured. They have announced their presence last year. They got to the playoffs. They fell apart. It's part of the natural progression. They're a little bit more tougher. They're a year older. They're a year wiser. They're battle hardened. I think they make a run probably to the World Series this year. To me, they are probably of the top tier candidates. They're probably the top one outside of any team named Los Angeles and San Diego to get to the series. Unfortunately, guess what? Both those other teams are in the NL with them.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have the Braves in the NLCS, losing to the Padres. But time shall show.
So one key thing that Tori brought up here is you kind of have to learn how to lose before you can win. But did the Braves lose enough in the playoffs, Hoffy, for them to get over that hump into the championship game?
I think so, and we're yet to see Acuna be the best player on his team. Never mind the MVP player that we think he's going to be. So I think he's due for a solid year. And bringing back some of those free agents this year, which we thought they were going to lose, I definitely think helps them and keeps them in this, in the top of this, upper threshold.
Yeah, if Ozuna leaves, we're having a different conversation about the Braves. Acuna probably, in my bold prediction for this year, is he won for sure. I bet he's 40-40 this year. He has the potential to be a 50-50 guy for the first player ever. That's my bold prediction with him, that he could potentially be that 50-50 guy this year.
I think him and Tatis are 1-2 for MVP this year.
I would hands down agree with that.
So with that being said, Tori, you have the Braves going to the World Series. Hoffy, you have them going to the National League Championship.
NLCS,
yeah. What can the Braves do to get to the World Series in your eyes?
Go ahead, Tori.
John Madden it, score more points than the other guys. No, and the thing is, with any team, with any of the World Series hopeful, avoid the major injury. Get through the regular season relatively unscathed. Hopefully you have a couple of surprise guys that you weren't counting on that have a little bit better year than you expect. I mean, it's kind of the same story with MLB every year for like, oh my God, I can't believe they made it here. But you have all the breaks. And that's any team. They just need all the breaks. Like, if Freeman goes down for 3 months, it's going to hurt them. Will they make the playoffs? Probably. Are they going to go far in the playoffs? No, because the only thing that they're going to have left is Freddie Freeman on the sidelines with just his leadership, and losing his bat is, almost a deal breaker. Where if you lose Acuna, you are a deal breaker. I'm not even probably putting you in the wild card then at that point.
So Hoffy, how can the Braves get to the series?
I mean, they're going to have to beat. I got them 1 series short, so I guess they got to beat the Padres. And I don't. It's not something that they can't do. I just think that Padres pitching staff, bullpen, as well as starting pitching is just what's going to get it done for them in that series, as well as throughout the year, and get them into that World Series title. Okay,
so the next team that you have in your Tier 2 status here, World Series hopefuls, is the New York Mets. They'd finished 26-34 last season, last in their division in the NL East, but they did add some few pieces. They have a new ownership. So, Hoffy, tell me why you think the Mets are basically going to go from worst to first.
I mean, they got a top 5 pitching staff, both starting, bullpen, 7th best offense. I expect Alonso to have a bounce back from his sophomore slump. I mean, this team has all the pieces to be successful, but that's where we got to leave it at the fact that it is the New York Mets. How's Carrasco and Lindor going to do in year 1? Carrasco, I believe, is already out for 6 weeks with an injury. And he's supposed to be their number 2 spot. Noah Syndergaard returning from surgery. How's he going to do? And Stroman, who missed last year with COVID, is coming back. So, there's a lot of if factors with that team.
So basically what you're saying is you're putting all your chips in the pitching department for the New York Mets. Tori, is Hoffy as smart on this?
Just because I very much have intimate knowledge of the Mets. One of my really good friends is from Jersey. We argue baseball back and forth, and he's a big Mets fan. And Hoffy's 100% correct. To me, their biggest concern is their offense. They've got Lindor, they've got Alonso. For them, it's the development of the other guys around them. Who steps up, who can, potentially take that. To me, their leadoff. They're set. They got Lindor, but who's hitting behind him till you get to Alonso? That's the biggest concern with them is. I don't think they have the bats to potentially reach the World Series. But if they all come together and everything comes to life, absolutely are they there? Because if that pitching staff is on point, they're unstoppable. Is Trevor Bauer pitch? Oh wait, they still got beef going with him.
Ridiculous.
If we want to say it, the Mets are going to fuel themselves to the World Series on nothing but hate for Trevor Bauer. But to me, the big piece for them is what is their offense going to look like? Are they going to play the long ball game, or are they going to play the get him on, get him over? Because outside of Alonso, to me, there's not a lot of power threats on that team.
Yeah. So Hoffy, just like we spoke about the Braves, is you have to learn, like you have to lose to learn how to win. So the Mets did not make the playoffs last year, and they are already basically practicing on how they're going to celebrate the World Series. If you guys have not seen that video, you should go watch it on YouTube. It is a great video to watch. Hank wink, but not really. So you have the Mets as World Series hopefuls. So do you think they are just going to go into the playoffs and just like everything is going to click, or do they have to lose still?
I said it last night that I got a team in the top one tier that's not going to make the playoffs. We've already discussed my Padres being the World Series champs. So I got the Mets actually beating the Dodgers in the wild card game. Surprisingly, I think just for whatever reason the Padres will win that division, and I expect the Dodgers to just somehow not get past that game with New York, and I expect to see the Dodgers miss. And then I got the Mets losing in the first round to the Padres.
So Tori, how far do you have the Mets going in this year's season, in the 2020-21 season?
I don't even have them making the playoffs. I think they finished just a little bit out. They're probably a year or two away from being a playoff team and being a serious contender with it all. Because you got to think they're the Mets.
Right.
Just like back in the 50s when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn and they were dem bums, the Mets just basically took that moniker over. And it's always something stupid and weird that happens with the Mets that prevents them from becoming this great team outside of like the year of like the Subway Series. And actually I thought that series they should have won, but the Yankees. How about
the year they lost to the Royals in the World Series because their pitcher refused to come out of the game?
Yeah. I mean, but at that point, I was cheering for the Royals. I'm a small market guy. I cheer for the small market teams. Like I'm always going to. The only team that's a small market team that I probably will never cheer for in the series would be the Minnesota Twins, just because I hate everything Minnesota. And
speaking of the Minnesota Twins here, that is the next team up here on the list. They finished 36-24 in the 2020 campaign. Hoffy, you have them as your third team here in the Tier 2 World Series hopefuls. Why are the Twins in there?
I mean, they got a top 10 offense. They've brought back one of the best, lineups in recent seasons. Though the bomb squad did take a huge step back last year. But I think they're going to be pretty solid defensively this year with adding Gold Glove and Simmons to shore up the defense. They got a great rotation behind Maeda and Berrios, and they're going to have the 10th ranked bullpen, which is going to help out that starting lineup towards the back end of the game.
Tori, you just said that you hate everything Minnesota. They won the division last year. Let's just be flat out honest. That division looks pretty weak on paper. How do you think the Twins do?
Second. Well, I wouldn't say second place. If Eloy Jimenez never went down, the Twins are probably a second place team. But I mean, as long as that team takes their Centrum Silver before every game, so Donaldson can play, so Nelson Cruz can play, because Andrelton Simmons can play. They've got an older lineup, but they've got an older lineup that can still hit. They've got a pitching staff that's relatively unknown and one of the better staffs in the league. It's not quite like back in the day when they had like Scott Erickson and everybody's like, who's he? And the guy blew away the league. But yeah, I honestly, in a weak AL Central, I give the nod to the Twins. Like I said, and we're talking totally different if Eloy Jimenez never goes down for the White Sox. And like we've all talked, and Brandon and Hoffy have said too, I don't think Tony La Russa was the right hire for that team. It was just, hey, we have a Hall of Fame coach, let's hire him. because we have a bunch of good players. There was literally no thought put into that team. But as far as the Twins go, yeah, the Twins could probably make a serious run. And my AL bold prediction is they finally win a playoff series this year. I mean, that's going out on the limb right there.
That's a World Series win right there.
So one playoff win or one series win is a World Series win for them. So speaking of playoff wins here, the Chicago White Sox, they are a very, very good young team. They did finish 35 and 25 last season in the 2020 campaign. Hoffy, you have them up in the tier 2 as well. They have a very, very young squad with a very, very old coach. Why do you have them up so high?
So I think the trade for Lance Lynn didn't get as much attention as the Padres deal for Snell and Darvish. But over the past 2 years, he's first in major in innings, 292 and a third. They'll sport the 7th best staff, backed by the best bullpen in the game, and they're going to have the 8th best offense. But what is Tony La Russa going to do? And Torrey's mentioned the injury, and that's going to be huge for the White Sox, and that's why I think they're going to struggle to start this year, and that's really going to hurt them, hurt their chances to even be competitive this year, I think.
So quick question here, Torrey. You said that the AL Central was pretty weak here, but they had the Twins and the White Sox both here in Hoffy's tier 2 World Series hopefuls. How weak can they possibly be?
To me, it's just as weak as the NL Central. It's almost the same thing. That's a lie because there's a chance that the White Sox and the Twins both win 90 games, and I don't think there's one team in the NL Central that wins 90 games. Although, some of the predictions say the Brewers are going to win 93, and I'm like, can I get a Vegas line on that? Because I could put money on that, and I'm taking the under. Yeah, but the White Sox, I think they have to go through the whole process too. They started doing that. Like, they were the big name last year. They're going to make all this noise. They're going to do this, and this. And it kind of came true. I mean, but then they were like, okay, we're going to hire Tony La Russa. And the first thing I thought was, is he going to get another DUI? But
wow. No holds barred over here.
He coached the Cardinals, and I can't stand the Cardinals almost as much as the Cubs. But La Russa is an old school manager with an old school thought process. I just don't think that his coaching style translates well to the younger players and to this generation of players. Is he going to be respected? Yes. Are they going to take to his way of coaching? Probably not in my book. And I think at some point we're going to end up with a behind closed doors meeting, players only, about La Russa at some point, because the internal strife will wear off or will start to wear thin.
Yeah, so Hoffy, that is one of the biggest conversations that me and Combs have had this offseason is the old school mentality with the new school set of players. Did you take that into any consideration when you were putting these rankings together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been my factor the whole time since that signing was La Russa. I don't understand why, with you got a young group of guys, you got a Rocco Baldelli in Minnesota, you got Craig Counsell in the Milwaukee. I think you need someone like that, to manage these guys nowadays.
So if they were to have gotten a younger manager, not the old school like thought process, would you have him in your World Series top tier 1 guy?
I mean, I would have. I mean, I don't think Gabe Kapler is a drum beater, but I would have liked to see, I think he would have been a much better hire for that staff, or somewhere similar to that role. I think if they went with someone like that, I'd have them higher up.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the final team that you have in your tier 2 here, the top dog, the World Series hopefuls. Just to recap, you have the Atlanta Braves, the Mets, Twins, and the Chicago White Sox in there. And to round out the 14 that you have in there are the Toronto Blue Jays. They finished 32 and 28 last season. The problem is they're in the AL East, and I think this is probably the best division in baseball, hands down, in the 2021 campaign. So why do you have them in the tier 2?
They're going to have the third-ranked offense. They ranked 7th in runs last year, and then they added George Springer. I think Vladimir, Bichette, Biggio, they're all due to take an additional step forward this year. And the key is going to be Nate Pearson as their number 2. I think it's going to be tough for a pitcher to win Rookie of the Year, but if he has those kind of numbers, I think this team could give the Yankees a run for it in the AL East.
Tori, are you buying into the Blue Jays at all?
I am. One, obviously Guerrero, he's got the pedigree from his dad. You got Kevin Biggio again. You got Bo Bichette. Like literally, they've started to feel a team of former Major League offspring. And I compare it a lot to how the Brewers were in the early 2000s when Prince Fielder and Ricky Weeks and J.J. Hardy, Corey Hart, when them guys were young and coming up. I see a lot of that team in this Blue Jays team. Except the Blue Jays team's got a way better pitching staff than the Brewers ever had with any of those. Because when you sign Jeff Suppan to be your number 2 starter, you're hurt already. But yeah, the comparisons and to watch the steps that young Brewers team took compared to this Blue Jays team, I see a lot of the similarities, and I see the same steps being taken with a lot higher ceiling. This team's a legitimate threat this year.
I think all the top 8 guys are all due for 25, 20 plus home runs and 75 RBIs, and that's recipe for success.
Right. This goes back to this is steroid era ball, but they could challenge the Baltimore Orioles when I think 7 of their 9 everyday starters had 20 plus home runs.
Mm-hmm,
I don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. It was insane. That was the year that Steve Finley hit 50 bombs.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to your Tier 1 teams here. These are the top dogs. These are basically teams that you can ride into the World Series right now. Spoiler alert, he has 3 teams in there, but only 2 teams can make the World Series. So one of those teams have got to fall. But let's go ahead and go with the defending champs first, the LA Dodgers. They went 43-17 last season, a winning percentage over 700. That is absolutely crazy, mind-boggling to me. I feel like you kind of put the Dodgers in there by default simply because they are defending champions. Is that true, or do you legitimately think they're World Series contenders again?
I think they're World Series contenders. I mean, they check every box. You got 3 potential Cy Young winners, rounded out by Price, Urias. With a solid bullpen. They're gonna have number 6, 6th ranked bullpen. Position players in Betts, Bellinger, Seager, and Smith. I mean, that's gonna get the job done. And I have them winning the second most games in the regular season this year. I think I have the Padres at 107 and the Dodgers at 105. But like I said, there's that play-in game, and I think that I'm going to bank on hopefully it's the Mets, but I think the Dodgers lose that play-in game.
So Tori, you are a baseball guy. You are wearing a Brewers jersey. You are not wearing a Dodgers jersey. Do you think the Dodgers are going to repeat?
Well, since I got my Josh Hader jersey on, I'll throw some Haterade at you. Dodgers are probably going back to the World Series. They are still one of the most complete teams in baseball. The only issue I got with them, everybody's a year older. Who can stay healthy? Are injuries going to start to play it? Like Kershaw, is he going to stay healthy? Justin Turner's 35 years old. Is he going to stay healthy? They've got a lot of guys that are in that over 30 category that got some question marks. David Price, is David Price going to be healthy? For the Dodgers to win it though again this year, I think it's a lot of it. I don't want to say luck because it's not luck, but again, can you stay healthy? Because you have an older team, you have an older squad, you have a veteran squad mixed in with a little bit of young talent here and there. If their older guys stay healthy and they can guide this team, I don't think anybody beats them, honestly. I do see them playing the Padres in the the Braves in the NLCS. I don't think the Padres are quite there yet. Next year, probably for the Padres, not this year. But I would put the Dodgers and the Braves in the NLCS with the Dodgers beating them, making their 3rd straight trip.
So, Hoffy, Tori brought up some really good points there that everybody is a year older. They're an aging veteran team. Let's say the Dodgers are a 500 club going into the All-Star break, and that trade deadline is quickly approaching. Do you think if they're kind of out of the hunt for the first overall seed or the playoffs, like in general, do they dump some of these veteran players and pick up some young guys?
I can see that happening because everyone's going to kind of do that, but at the same time, this isn't like the the NFL, you're not going to probably not going to get a whole lot for those guys. So, I mean, is it going to be anybody that you could put in your farm system and develop? I don't see them being 500, but I could see them trying, if they are, I could see them getting rid of, Kershaw to allow him one last chance at a run or such. But I don't think you're going to get a whole lot for Kershaw or Turner or some of those older guys that they could potentially, let go have one last run.
So
I think if Walker Buehler continues to struggle, he becomes a valuable trade chip for them to get him to somewhere else, because honestly, he got shelled all spring and just never looked comfortable on the mound this whole year. And there again, part of your pitching staff with that, like if he's getting shelled, that's probably one of the, to me, he's probably a top 10 pitcher in baseball. And if he's getting shelled, why not see what you can get for him at the deadline?
Yeah, I think that's the one and only, I mean, obviously you get something for Betts and, some of those other guys, but that's not, you're not unloading those guys.
No.
So you guys are basically putting the lock emoji icon next to the Dodgers going to the championship game in the NL, right?
I am. Huffy's got him losing in the wild card game.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So speaking of losing in the playoffs themselves, the San Diego Padres are starting to get really, really good at losing in the playoffs. Last year in the 2020 season, they finished 37-23. But Hoffy, you have them in your tier 1 here, the top dogs. Why?
I mean, they led the league in runs last year, and they returned their entire starting lineup, and they even added another additional piece from the Japanese league in a second baseman who's going to be pretty decent for them. You add Darvish, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, joins Lamet and Chris Paddock. I think that's going to be one of the top 5 pitching staffs in MLB. So they're going to be tough team to compete with.
Tori, what are your thoughts on the old Padres?
It's like I said, they are going to be hands down one of the best teams in baseball this year. They're getting so young, have not had they made the play. No, they missed the playoffs.
They made the playoffs last year, but they didn't have any starting healthy pitchers, so they had to go all bullpen. It was 2 innings from this guy, 2 innings from this guy, 2 innings, and then come again tomorrow.
What are you talking about? That's the Brewers' rotation.
Not this year.
Not this year. But there again, Council doesn't like let anybody throw over 5 innings anyway. So yeah. By the way, if you hit that third turn of the batting order, you're gone. You're yanked. He won't let you go through the third. However, back to the Padres. I think they're a year away. The Padres literally have every piece. They do. They check all the boxes. They are a young, good team. They are going to be, if they can keep some of those pieces in place, they're going to be a good team for the next 10 years, which for me is just great, just because San Diego hasn't had a lot to cheer about over the years.
Since Tony
the
Gwynn.
last time, Tony Gwynn, the World Series year when they had Ken Caminiti, who was so juiced up. I'm surprised his biceps just didn't explode, but But they just haven't. They're again a small market team. I'm always going to cheer for that small market team, and San Diego is one of those small market teams. They check all the boxes. They're going to be right there. I have them losing just before the NLCS to the Dodgers.
Do you guys want to know why I really don't like the Padres? For one, they stole Hosmer from the Kansas City team. Like it is what
I
it
do
is.
love him.
You can't steal a free agent.
Yeah, you can. It
called
happened.
paying him more.
Flash back a couple years. It happened, but every time they wear those brown on brown jerseys, it makes me want to vomit in my mouth. Those are the most ridiculous, ugliest jerseys I've ever seen.
I love their roster. I cannot use them on MLB Show for that exact reason. I can't do the uniforms.
No, I will say the Padres have probably the worst uniforms in baseball. The camouflage tops, I can't stand. I can't stand those. The only top that I like is that yellow with the brown sleeves. Mm-hmm. That's the only one I like.
Yeah, they need a makeover.
I feel like I'm like my wife right now. She's like, I can't root for them because their jerseys are ugly. But I do like the Padres. I think they're going to the World Series this year, actually. So speaking of the last team in Hoffy's tier 1 here, the top dogs, the New York Yankees. They finished last year 33-27 with a little over 500 record there. The problem with the biggest problem with the Yankees year in and year out is can they stay healthy? Hoffy, this year, can they stay healthy and make a deep run?
To be completely honest, I hope not. I hope they fall on their face. I hope they go 0-162. But this team is solid when healthy. They carry the top 3 staff bullpen, offense, starting pitching. Even without Judge and Stanton for much of the last 2 seasons, they've scored the most runs in that amount of time. The upside of Garrett Cole, Severino, Corey Kluber, Talion, back behind some of the most powerful bats in the game that we just discussed. Gary Sanchez, he had a rough year last year. I think he hit 147 in 49 games. Again, key is staying healthy, and can those 3 power guys have solid seasons?
Tori, what are your thoughts about the Yankees? I do know that your friend over there is a Mets fan, so I'm sure you guys have mutual hatred for the Yankees. But let's kind of speak, logically, level-headed here. What are your thoughts on the Yankees here?
I'm with Hoffy. Go 0-162. I am not a fan of any team that goes out and tries to buy their championships, and the Yankees year in and year out continually try to do it. I didn't mind the early '90s Yankees teams because those were all from the farm. Your Bertie Williams, your Jeters, and stuff like that. Like all them guys, they would bring in outside pieces here and there, like a Paul O'Neill or something like that. Those teams I did not mind. And
I miss those teams, and I hate the Yankees.
I do too. And the only team I hated more then was the Braves. So if the Yankees had to play the Braves in the series, I was hands down for the Yankees.
Yeah, the 96 through 98 Braves Yankees, that rivalry.
That was great for baseball.
Yeah,
it was good for baseball.
That's where I fell in love with it.
Period.
Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones.
Don't forget John Rocker.
Glavine, Maddox. Yeah, Smoltz.
All
Johnny Rocker on coke.
Yeah. That guy was crazy. So I am with you guys. I strongly dislike the Yankees, mainly because I feel like the Kansas City Royals was their farm system through the 90s, right? Any good player that the Royals got, let's send him to New York and let him have a great career, just like over there. But for some reason, Judge has that polarizing, he just you can't hate him, right? He's just a guy you just can't hate, and I secretly root that he does well. Just maybe just because he's just always has a smile on his face.
He's like a homie.
Yeah, he is like my homie.
It just doesn't sound like Kermit the Frog.
Actually, he sounds just as bad as Kermit the Frog. But we'll go ahead and digress on that. But guys, if the Yankees can't stay healthy, are they even a 500 team?
No. Maybe if it depends on the pitching. If they can't stay healthy, no. If they do stay healthy, I think they break the MLB strikeout record for a team.
What
You're
is
talking
the
offensively, right?
Yeah.
What is the strikeout record?
I don't know. That's something we'd have to look up.
If Carlos was going to get 300, we're probably looking at 800 strikeouts, right?
I was going to say probably 700 strikeouts on a team.
Sheesh. There are some crazy stats, and I think yes, the baseball, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports, hands down. But striking out 3 or 4 times in a game, that's got to be rough on anybody's ego, right?
Yeah, hands down. But the thing is it's glamorized in today's sports, though, and that's the one thing that bothers me with baseball is nobody cares that you struck out 200 times. They care that you hit 46 bombs. They don't care that you hit 223 because you hit 46 bombs.
Right, exactly. All about analytics. Speaking of striking out, Hoffy knows all about striking out. Hoffy, what did you go for last night? Were you 2 for 8 with 3 strikeouts?
No, 3 for 3 with 3 doubles. You're only allowed to hit 1 home run, and our leadoff hitter led the game off with a home run, so took away my power for the rest of the game. But to answer your question, 2019 Detroit Tigers struck out 1,595 times.
Wow.
1,500 times.
I think Yankees can break that this year.
Let me pull up my calculator real quick here. There's 162 games in a major league season.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. So 2019 it was 1,595. The 2018 White Sox have 1,594.
Guys,
the fewest strikeouts in a season was 300 and 8 by the Cincinnati Reds in 1921.
That is 10 strikeouts a game.
I mean, it is the Tigers, so I'm not real shocked. But
That is everybody
Wasn't that the
getting
year they
struck
lost like
out.
100 plus?
What's that?
That might have been the year that you set the record for most losses too, like 100 and plus.
I don't know. Like, there are certain teams that I feel bad for. I think the Tigers are like one of them because they were World Series, like, you know, what, 3 years in a row, right? Or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
And then boom, 115 losses. I was like, what? What
A la
happened to
Kansas
them?
City Royals.
Yeah. Well, we lost all of ours because of free
True.
agency. So
Small
and we
market.
didn't want to pay the money. But Hoffy, thanks for joining us, man. For tonight, we did cover his tier 1 and tier 2 teams. So if you guys are curious of where all those teams are tiered out, we will be making a Facebook page here tomorrow with each team tiered out. So if you want to challenge some Hoffy's thoughts, you know, challenge them there in the comment section. But Hoffy, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Are you going to go play some softball?
Oh yeah, I'm off to shoot middle. Yeah,
All right,
kitchen's
man.
open tonight.
Kitchen's
Someone's
open.
getting it.
All right, man. You have a great
Good
night.
night,
Good luck.
Hoffy.
See you
Stay
guys.
safe. All right, guys. So that is Hoffy, our sports lackey or our baseball lackey. He will be joining us once a week on Sunday nights here on YouTube.com/Man Hour, and then Monday afternoons on Big X Sports Radio at 3 p.m. Actually, it would be about 4 p.m. when he would be on during that section. So, Tori, let's go ahead and take our last break of the night, man. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little bit of shop talk. Since you are the guest of the hour, you are the man of the hour, you are the second man, myth, the legend himself with the very distinguished beard. I mean, it makes me smile, like how great your beard actually is. What do you want to talk about on the other side of the break?
man, now you just
We are just kidding. We're going to mute you on that. Welcome to the show, Tori. You have been initiated, guys. We'll be right back here on Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson here. We missed Wyatt so much, so we have to. Tori, I forgot you are a Packers fan too. So there's some Conor McGregor knocked out with the Packers shirt for you there. You know, we're definitely welcoming you onto the Man Hour Nation here, the Man Hour family with the vengeance right now. I got you with the mute. I got you with the Conor McGregor there. I kind of feel like you're one of us now. One of us.
the thing is,
one of us.
after that NFC title game, that's exactly how I looked. So, except I was on the bathroom floor,
Right.
or maybe I was in the tub. I don't remember.
I got pictures that you were like half in the tub and like your arm wrapped around the toilet. You were confused on which way you wanted to actually go.
The thing is, that could be 100% true. That's the last time I had a beer.
Yeah. So Tori, few things that people don't know about me. Like, I do have a 3-year-old son we're currently potty training right now. Potty training's not going very, very well. Like, let's just be flat out honest. Like, it is probably one of the hardest things that me and my wife had to do. So she actually just sent me a picture here. My son is bare butt running through the yard, and he is swinging on his swing just with his legs spread eagle, and he's just enjoying life 100%. Like, I wish I could do that. Just run with no clothes on, sit on a swing, and just legs spread wide open and have a great time. Like, that would make my afternoon.
Right. I mean, when you're 3, it's cute, it's adorable. And when you're 44, they call the cops.
Yeah, why? Like, what's the difference? Like, what exactly is the difference? But guys, this is Shop Talk time. If you guys want to talk about anything in the comments here, let us know. Tori, I want to give you the floor here. Like, I had to get the inaugural mute out of out of the way. So what do you want to talk about here in the last couple of minutes here on the Man Hour?
So one, I had prepped myself so much for that mute, thinking I'm going to know when it's coming, and I got caught. I got on that one.
Yeah, you did.
For me, the Final Four. Obviously, that's one of the big things going on right now. The resurgence of the UCLA Bruins. Again, this is a program that hasn't been great. They've been kind of up and down. Like, the only time you heard them in the news in the last 5 or 6 years was because of LaMelo Ball.
Right.
Or Lonzo Ball. And then when LiAngelo Ball got kicked off the team for shoplifting while they were overseas,
right.
You know, other than that, you didn't hear anything about UCLA. And that's the last time they were relevant, was when Lonzo Ball played for them. They're a program that is historically probably the best college basketball program of all time.
I believe they had the most championships, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, they do. They won 7 in a row.
Right.
You know, that's never going to be matched. I don't care. I can say that with 100% confidence that nobody will ever match that.
Right.
Not 100%. This day and age of basketball. But watching a program, and they're kind of like, you know, IU fans, you probably think that I absolutely hate IU. I don't. But I'd like to see the resurgence, especially something like that. It's good overall for college basketball to have a resurgence of these programs. And the thing is, it happens to every program out there. I don't care who you are. Alabama in the 90s, from 92 to about 2002, was a mediocre program. They weren't that great. You know, and now they're back to being great again. You know, it's the rise and fall. Currently, you know, your UCLA wasn't a great team. Arizona, not a great team. You know, Kentucky had a down year for what they normally are. These programs have down times, but they all eventually bounce back. And that's the one thing, like, I will tell IU fans, you're going to bounce back. It will happen. It will happen eventually. And absolutely, will you? Maybe it's 4 years down the road, and somebody comes back and says, Tori, remember what you said? Absolutely, make me eat my crow at that point.
Right.
You know, I am okay with that, because if your program's resurging, no matter what, that's good for basketball, because it is now invigorating that fan base. It is getting other people to talk about it. It's never a bad thing. I love the ebb and the flow of it.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, like you know, just because you know, my Kansas State, you know, we were great back in the early 1900s, and then you don't ever remember any Kansas State basketball from, you know, like 88 till 2000, right? Like, you don't know them, just like, because it took us so long to rebuild and reload. Like a program like IU, like Kentucky, like UCLA, their fan bases almost expect them to reload instantly. So like what people don't know about Kentucky basketball is we lost basically the X's and O's coach this year. I say we because I am a Kentucky fan, because I have to be, because my wife is, so I support her, but I digress on that. But we lost the X's and O's coach, Kenny Payne, to the NBA. I believe he's coaching with the Knicks right now, if I'm not mistaken. Coach Cal is a great recruiter. He will tell you what you want to hear when you want to hear, but his X's and O's is not great. So Kentucky fans, you guys also need to take a little bit of what we said to the IU fans. Take a step back. Just think about this. Coach Cal is not a good X's and O's coach. It is going to take him time to learn how to do an X's and O's coach, or hire somebody that can do that. So Kentucky will be in rebuild mode as well. And also, I want to talk about a little bit about what you touched on UCLA, and I brought up Kentucky for this very reason. Johnny Juzang is having arguably one of the best stretch of games of his whole career. Do you want to know how I know? Because he was a Kentucky player just in 2019. He came off the bench as a 6th or 7th guy, averaged like 2.5 points a game, roughly 6 or 7 minutes. Coach Cal had no faith in him whatsoever, dogged him. He transferred, went to UCLA. He sat out the 2020 year because of the whole transfer rule thing, and now that has been waived, which I'm really glad that has been waived. But you see Johnny Juzang lighting it up. He was on Kentucky, so Coach Cal kind of struck out on that one, didn't he?
Well, and there again, Coach Cal doesn't line up for 3 to 4 year players. He loads up for 1 to 2 year players, and that's why, there again, he's one of probably 3 programs in the country. Them, Duke, and North Carolina are the only 3 programs, I believe, that can just, fire and reload like that constantly.
So one of the biggest things is that one of the biggest changes that are going to be happening in college basketball is the one and done rule is going to kind of be cut out. Like, I don't know if that has officially passed or not, but it is definitely being talked about again. I believe as early as 2023 is when the new NBA player agreement thing is. So Tori, do you think a program like Kentucky and Duke that basically pride themselves on one and done, are they going to suffer like after the one and done are like over?
It all depends.
We don't really care what you think, Tori, because you are a guest on the show. That's twice in one night, Tori. Man Hour Nation, have a great night. Rise up. See you tomorrow. YouTube.com/Man Hour. Have a great night, boys and ladies.